In a world as out of balance as this world, the point isn't that you should do everything. And that's the problem that often my students come to me with. How can I do everything? And my response is, don't do everything. Do something. One thing. Tell me what one thing you're doing, and then let's connect that up with some other thing that either you're doing or others are doing. Once we begin to build those connections and see the ways in which we actually might create a landscape that's more just, more fair, more full, more beautiful, then it's hard to stop, right? But the point is not to do everything. The point is the environment is out of balance. The point is that that we have 2 million of our fellow citizens in prison, which means we have something like 15 million people directly affected by the prison explosion. It's a fact that we spend less on education than we do on prisons. These are things that you can get involved in. Peace, women's rights, the rights of gay and lesbian people, the rights of people of color. These are things one can get involved in. Getting involved anywhere, anytime, putting your toe in anywhere actually can open up a world of possibilities.
You have courage when you don't, at the moment, think you have a choice.
Well, there's that. That can be one motivator.
You sit there and say,
the other motivator is that you say, as those kids said in the lunch counters in North Carolina, as those Mississippi voters said, it's not that they were saying I have nothing to lose. They were saying I can do this. We can win. There are enough of us. We can win, and another world is possible. If, and this is what
so
the powerful.
So what you're tasting is possible victory.
That's
which is
it.
Such a pleasure.
And that's it. And the powerful want us to believe that this is the end point of history, that we're living at the end of history. And we have to persuade people that not only is this not the end, each of us is a work in progress, but history is swirling forward, and that taking a risk on behalf of your values is worthwhile because we can do it, because it's not out of our reach. It's true, we ought to interrupt the injustices we see around us. We also ought to be smart enough to see a system underneath the little injustices that needs to be changed. That's what I was referring to at the end of the talk about social ethics. It's not just a matter of recognizing that somebody has a backward idea or somebody's doing something hurtful. It's recognizing that there's a system that organizes that hurtfulness. And so when I think, for example, about racism, it's not a series of bad ideas that people, are inculcated into people. It's that, but it's much more justification for oppression based on skin color. And if you don't see that, then you're not fighting the system. So I never urge, for example, white people to feel guilty or men to feel guilty. I urge them to be active in changing the system that's filled with privilege and unearned oppression, undeserved suffering. We have to ask ourselves, what is risked when we act on behalf of justice? What do we risk? And then what do we risk when we don't act on behalf of justice? Because there are risks in all directions. And I think if we ask it that way, we challenge ourselves to say, what is that other world we're arcing toward? What's preventing us from realizing it, thinking it through?
So you'd say if I had spoken up,
yeah,
maybe it would have made an enormous difference, and I didn't. So I took a risk there.